All right, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. Hey, I've got some breaking news for Detroit Lions fans. I'm guessing we're all going to be chomping at the bit to hear. I want to give credit to where credit is due first, though. I want to give credit to Hutch Jr., who's trying to get onto the mic to join us here momentarily. He's reporting, and he's got it confirmed from multiple different sources, including Dave Burkett of the Detroit News, that, hey, if you're a Lions fan, you got a little bit more reason to feel positive about this game coming up Monday Night Football, because as you can tell from the thumbnail, guess who's back? That's right, Aleem the Dream McNeil is going to return, and these quotes, this confirmation is coming from Dan Campbell, Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell himself. Again, Hutch Jr. and Dave Burkett from Detroit Free Press are both reporting. Dan Campbell just reported minutes ago on 97.1 The Ticket, barring something happening this week to cause a delay or any kind of return Monday night, Aleem McNeil is, quote, frigging, quote, end quote, playing versus the Buccaneers. Let's bring on the man. I know he's having some computer mic issues. Hutch Jr., you're breaking this news along with Dave Burkett. Why don't you dive in? What does this mean for the Detroit Lions defense?
This is huge, barring that we are down cornerbacks. Best thing to litigate a bad secondary is pass rush. To make a bad secondary good,
right?
Get good pass rush. This is huge. I know he's been on the verge of coming back probably at least for the last 3 weeks. I think they were just kind of playing this precautionary, but what better time than playing? Basically, I see this as a really must win for the Lions. I mean, if you're looking to be in a good spot in the NFC, you have to beat the Bucs, who right now are the number 1 seed. So yeah, it's good to see it lean back, and it's going to be fun, man. And Hutch and I think El Muhammad are going to really like this edition finally coming back.
Junior, I know you, me, the Duke crew, a bunch of people have been speculating for a couple weeks now since Aleem the Dream returned to the practice field. The Lions could be targeting this particular game because you could evaluate him, get him on the field. If there's any stiffness nor soreness or whatever, you've got a couple weeks now after the game to kind of reevaluate him or make any adjustments to his training regimen. Getting him out there, how many snaps do you think Lions fans should reasonably expect out of Aleem against the Bucs?
Yeah, and that's where I was kind of trying to figure out too. I know Dan, I think last week said if he did play against the Chiefs, it was going to be like 20 to 28. So I'm very interested to see, like, is the snap count now more, or is it going to be about the same? You got to be careful with these ACLs, man. If anyone remembers the game last year against the Bills when we played them, it was weird how he injured his knee. It was like he went to sack him and he jumped, and I was like, maybe it was just a knee sprain, but it ended up being worse than what I thought. But yeah, this is going to be a weird one. I could see him in that 28-30 snap range. They might just let him go crazy. I don't think Dan Campbell's going to do that. He likes to slowly weed these guys in, and then, when they are healthy, where he believes, okay, hey, you can go full force, go. But, I think McNeil's going to obviously try to tell them, like, hey, I want to play the whole game.
Sure.
But, yeah, I think it's going to be 28, probably 30 snaps. And it could be a lot of the, like the longer rushing scenarios, like you get him in there on, second, third down, let him go, help out Hutch and Muhammad, and, and then they just kind of let him rest for a little bit.
You bring up a point there with McNeil coming back. Davenport probably going to be back pretty quick after the bye week. You start looking at this defensive front for the Lions. Muhammad's probably been, I'd say, most casual observers would at least say that he's been a plus for this team. He's got 4.5 sacks, rotational piece. Now you get Davenport back. Now you get McNeil back. You look at a lot of play this defensive line. Just how deep are the Detroit Lions at the defensive front?
Yeah, give Brett Holmes credit, man. I think every podcaster and things like that, I think this is the one thing that we've criticized Brad Holmes on is the D line. When Davenport went down, we were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Muhammad comes out and has, been playing great. Hutch is finally getting back to getting to the quarterback. You're starting to see him do his things that he was doing last year before he got injured. Now you're adding McNeil back in there. So McNeil, I'm very interested to see what they're going to do in the middle of this D line. I don't know. Are they going to rock Reader and Tyleek and then maybe move McNeil outside of them and Hutch? I mean, it's going to change this whole defensive scheme. I'm going to be very interested in what Kelvin Shepherd does with these guys, because you have to absolutely have McNeil and Hutch on the field. And if that means you put DJ Reader and Tyleek in there to push that pocket backwards and let them two go off, I wouldn't be surprised if they put McNeil on kind of like an edge rusher. I know he's not that type of player, but you just can't. You cannot have him on the field. He helps Hutch. He helps his defense in every way.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's gonna. I think we all agree he should be able to give a lot of flexibility to Shep up front. Going forward, we look at the Lions. It's easy to look in 2020 vision. We all know that Zadarius Smith's retired. Do you think the Lions knew going into training camp that he was kind of on the fence? Lions fans were all clamoring for us to bring him back. We wanted more defensive end pressure, et cetera, on the quarterback. Do you think Holmes and MCDC had a feeling that maybe he wasn't as committed as they would like him to be?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, yeah, that was when I first saw it, I was like, whoa, this is kind of wild, because he was pretty ecstatic to go to the Eagles. I know Lions fan base wanted him back. But things happen and they're all human. They decide, you know what, I tried to come back. I'm not, but maybe he just didn't like it out in Philly.
Right.
Philly's a different place. And maybe he does want to come back to the Lions. I mean, I don't see Brad Holmes now with him retiring. I don't think Brad Holmes is going to reach out to him and say, hey, come play for us. I think Brad Holmes is just, again, looks like the smartest guy in the room. He's like, hey, you know what? I know you guys wanted him back, but maybe he gave us some thing and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to try and come back. And if I don't like it, I'm going to retire. And who knows where this team would be back if we resign him and retire. We'd all be kind of upset if he retired. And so props to Brad Holmes. You get Muhammad, who is cheaper, and he's doing this. He's actually on pace to be better than Zadarius Smith this year.
All right, let's get everybody out of here. I think we covered it, but McNeil coming back by all probability, unless he has a little bit of a slip up this week, per MCDC's own lips on 97.1 The Ticket. He confirmed that Lean the Dream is going to be returning. I want to give credit where credit's due. Hutch Jr. got this news along with Dave Burkett, so credit to you guys. Hutch Jr., why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out to everybody where they find you, support you, and your great content.
Well, Dan, congrats on 15,000. I seen that this morning. Congrats again. Thanks for having me on here. As always, you guys, you can find me on here. Make sure you guys hit that like and share button for Dan. He does great work. And then you can find me on Facebook, The Lions Den. You can find all the news and stuff up there.
All right. Duke, if you would be so kind before departing, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. See you on the next Lions Talk Live.